Well, we are back on air. This time, I'm positive it will work. As I said before, we have a wonderful interview lined up for you today. We are going to be talking to Dr. Muna Al-Hinai. She's an assistant professor at the International Maritime College, Oman, and the National University, and she's one of the scientists that has been nominated by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation to present the Sultanate of Oman in the 71st edition of the Lindau Nobel Laureates meeting, which was recently. So, Dr. Muna, can you hear me this time?
Hello?
Hello, yes, we can finally hear you. Hello, it's nice to have you on air with us.
Thank you, and thank you for your invitation this morning.
Yes. You were one of the scientists that has been picked for this meeting. How was it? Tell us everything about it, and also maybe just start off by telling us your background.
Actually, this selection started on October 2021, last year. We received the email from the TRC for applying for this such exceptional event. And I applied for this session, which is dedicated to chemistry. They opened the application for 2 weeks, and then by the end of October, I received the nomination. I received a call from TRC as well as an email from the committee in Germany that I was nominated for this session this year, and I'm one of the young scientists, chemistry scientists in Oman. Actually, the application went through different filtering. We were stuck to criteria to apply on this session. We're supposed to be less than 35 the age, and the applicant should be top 5 among the top 5% among their colleagues, academically and in research as well. So part of it because of the academic achievement, and part of it is due to the research that I was working on through my life. So we were asked to apply and give all our achievements related to chemistry. And I was really happy to be nominated and receive the email in October. And then it took a bit longer time to receive the final selection, which was on March 2022. We faced lots of challenges this year because of the COVID and all the restrictions. And to be frank, till the last moment when I traveled last week, we were not really sure that we will go for this session because all of the restrictions due to the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
But it's really, to be sure, to be honest, it's really interesting to be among the young scientists, and especially in this field, which is chemistry.
And how was it at the meeting itself? Did you have any memorable moments to talk about?
Surely there are lots of memories from this meeting. From the first day when I met the organizing committee, we had an opening ceremony which was organized by the Bavaria state, where Lindau is one of the cities in this state. And we met the council who actually select our application and approve my application. So it was like a memorial moment to meet the council who is selecting the Nobel laureates in chemistry and to discuss with them about the science. They asked me about why you are doing science and what inspires you about the science. It was a great discussion. I will never forget this moment. Meeting the Nobel laureates was also really inspiring, and these memories will stay forever. They are really humble and kind. The discussions that they give, the advices, all these will stay for sure. There is one moment also during the closing ceremony. We were invited by the Countess Bernadette, who is the owner of the Manawa Island. She was inviting us, all the scientists and the Nobel laureates. The moment when we returned back to Lindau was like emotional, and for sure it will be a memory for life, where the Nobel laureates were raising their hands to say goodbye for the young scientists. We feel like they are like by somehow telling us that you are the future for chemistry and science. And also meeting the young scientists themselves, we had lots of discussions. We have lots of fun together, and we make friends who are science friends, actually. And for sure, some of them will stay forever, discussing with scientists and exploring different areas in chemistry or science in general, open our minds to different ideas. And for sure, we need each other to support each other and to grow. And for sure, this is we are doing the science at the end for the humanity.
And that's wonderful to hear. And it's also nice to hear that you made this it's kind of like a networking event then, right? Because you're getting to meet all the other people who are also working within the same field. And I guess you discuss your research then with one another.
Yes, for sure. I met some of the Nobel laureates, especially the laureate who invented the graphene. And this is one of my research areas. So we had a long discussion after his talk. I discussed some of my research ideas and the struggles that I am facing currently. And it was really great to have this knowledge from the person who discovered this material, because they, know all the aspects, and for sure they are still working on this research. We discussed our research and what is the current state. And as I say, different Nobel laureates gave their advices. Some of these advices technically related to the research that I am working on, which is in the area of material science and engineering, and specifically photocatalysis and membrane modification. There were some of the inspiring talks which were related to how to build my team as a scientist and as a young professional. That was awesome as well, because sometimes we need some monitoring from different sides, and having these scientists around and talking with them, discussing with them, they give lots of advice that will stay forever for sure. And it will help me to grow up and to go ahead with my team and continue in the research area.
This is actually really wonderful to hear that, you were part of this, especially as a Omani person. And so when you're talking to the youth of Oman, or how would you encourage them regarding promoting science and innovation in Oman and the path that they can take to end up in a place kind of like you?
Actually, some of the scientists, whether the laureates or the young scientists as well, and the committee itself, they were amazed about the research and how we are growing in Oman. From the discussion with me and my colleague, Dr. Zakia, they were really amazed. And as I said, they give lots of advice how we can grow up. Yes, I discussed with them my research, and they were interested about what are the facilities that we have here in Oman, and whether we have research in our institutions, academic institutions, and we give them some idea about how Oman is going to the Vision 2040, and how is the research and improving the education Oman is going to further steps. They give some advices how we can support the research in our country And to be frank with you, I invite some of them to give talks, and especially the council itself, the Nobel Laureate Council, as well as some of the laureates. I was interested to invite them to give some talks here for the young scientists in Oman, so they will be inspired. And in terms of the facilities, I found they are really supported. We get these communications with the scientists and with different universities, so we can grow up our innovation. It's not only by having the scientists here in one country, no. Collaboration with others is important, and we feel like we can complete each other to, raise the innovation in Oman.
All right, that is wonderful. And I once again, I have to congratulate you on the nomination and also your attendance for this Lindau Nobel Laureates meeting, which happened. And thank you very much for sharing this with us and with our listeners on air. I think it's quite inspiring to see someone from, our community being able to be represented over there in this meeting. Do you have any last words you would like to share with our listeners?
Thank you very much for your greetings and the greetings that I got recently. I would say that, again, as they asked me the first day on the meeting, why you are doing science, I would say it's for the humanity. If we keep in mind that we are working to a better life, to solve or try actually to get some ideas how to solve the current challenges that we face, like especially in our country now, we have these two main areas, the CO2 emissions and the hydrogen production. They are like two main areas around the world. We all need fresh air, and I would not forget that the water as well, which is one of the areas that I am working on personally. I would say to the young scientists and the students or whoever wants to be working in science, accept the challenges that you face. We are facing challenges as scientists every single day. But to be frank with you, it is really fun. So enjoy your way, enjoy the journey to achieve your goals and to achieve the projects or the research that you are working on. Sometimes you won't find the results that you are expecting, but that's fine, because if you find it easily, that means you make the list, but sometimes the challenges will teach you a lot. And this is what we learned as well from the Nobel laureates last week. They all faced lots of challenges, and they were inspiring the young scientists about their stories, about how they get the prize. It's not to think about getting the Nobel Prize, it's to think about the real science. And that's what we have to do as young scientists as well.
And that is a wonderful message to end on. Thank you once again for joining us for this interview. For our listeners who just tuned in right now, we were talking to Dr. Muna Hinai. She's an assistant professor at the International Maritime College Oman and the National University. And she was one of the scientists who participated in the Lindau Nobel Laureates meetings and got to meet Nobel